Hello everyone, welcome to B's Battlegrounds. I'm Bobby B, and today we'll be looking at the GIJoe Classified Series Fire Team 788 from Hasbro Pulse. Now this was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. It was to complement the HISS tank. Obviously you see them there in their black and red, that classic Cobra colors. I'm curious to, since we voted for the black and red Tactician, if that's had something to do to the inspire the black and red deco on these. Maybe if we would have got the purple, would we have seen like a purple and black kind of get up, or would they have kept the red and black to just go with the HISS tank? So I'm curious if that played a role into it. But right off the bat, my Retro Cobra Commander is actually on his way back to Hasbro Pulse right now. They asked me to mail him back because of some QC issues with his helmet being deformed and all misshapen in the back. And then I open, I got two sets of these of the fire teams to compare, but we're just going to jump into this. And what, like, how does that happen? Like, that's some stuff you see in like old toys, not like a brand new figure out of the box, the nose being like chipped away. And then so these were the same from the same pack, same fire team. They got a bunch of gray paint. Can't really see. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there, all over this Range Viper's mask. So I was super disappointed. Opened up my second box. My second box was looking good. Let's dive into it here. So according to the Hasbro Pulse bio, the lore, the classified, whatever non-existent file cards that are on their descriptions, the 2 sentences on Hasbro Pulse. The fire team basically is the boots on ground support element for the HISS tank. And that's what we see here. So they come in this plastic-free box. The artwork's pretty awesome. It is from the HISS tank, the Haslab HISS tank box art itself. Let me angle this up a little bit for you guys. If you're looking at the HISS tank box, this would be the right panel going towards the back side. The HISS gunner portrait would be over here, off to the left a little bit, and then these guys show up here in the distance. So they're working it, but we got the Cobra HISS officer, the Range Viper, and the infantry. So, nice little workup of them. We'll talk about how I feel about the Range Viper being here. But it's going to be number 110 in the line. I think this is the first time we actually have every figure that's out right now before. So we got them, we're finally starting to get them in order. But there you go, there's that artwork again. All nice and drawn up right there. We got our Semper Fidelis Serpens logo that we saw in the HISS tank box that upset a lot of old guys. We got a nice little schematic of the HISS right there, GIJoe Classified Series. On the back, we saw that we get that schematic design like we saw with the 3 Cobra HISS figures, the driver, the gunner, and the tactician. So we see it here. So the Cobra HISS officer, Cobra HISS Range Viper, and Cobra HISS infantry. And then each got their little attributes, and then we get some blast effects down here at the bottom. And then, of course, we got the Cobra High Speed Century Fire Team 788. So, pretty awesome. We got our 788 with our Mark GH7 Charlie. And that's the exterior box. Interior box is a huge letdown compared to what we've been seeing recently. They were plastic tied into this cardboard tray, and their legs were done with one strap at like just below the waist, so it was putting some unnecessary tension on their like hips, thigh joints, whatever you want to call them. So all my figures got the hot water wash to try to warm them up, straighten them out, get them going, and everything like that. So that's like a little prelude just that I did before taking them out of once I took them out of the box. But I'm glad plastic-free packaging is coming to an end, because it's only gotten worse, which is crazy because you think things would get better as they go, but the plastic-free packaging's only gotten worse. As far as packing the figures, where the artwork on the past few waves has been pretty awesome. But let's dive in here. So we'll start with the Cobra officer. If you guys have watched any of my videos before, you guys know that this is the ideal Cobra trooper body, in my opinion, with the web gear and the belt and the gauntlets. So I'm hoping that this in blue is what we see, well, blue and black, I guess, or blue, black, and gray, or is what we see moving forward for the blue shirts. But same as we saw with the first Python Patrol officer. We got the Cobra infantry trooper gauntlets with the Cobra officer torso and gear. Just all around awesome looking figure. So the red and black looks fantastic. There's no other paint apps on the belt. I don't know, some paint on the belt would have been pretty solid, but got gray gauntlets. On the shoulder here, you got that Semper Fidelis Serpens. It's very hard to see. Let me check the other one, just about the same. Oh, this one's a little more filled in, I guess. But there you have that. Then there's pouch for all his gear. We don't get that same AK we've been seeing, but we'll talk about the equipment here in a second, so we'll slide him back. And with him, we get our classic cartoon-inspired SMG with a scope. The magazine drops out. Got the porthole for blast effects. I do like this. I think it fits pretty well with most of the figures as far as standard issue Cobra gear. We get our Cobra officer weapon backpack, pegs into the back. Get a pistol. It's different than the officer pistols we've been seeing. This one's more, I guess, realistic would be the term. I don't know if that'd be the appropriate term, but porthole for blast effects. And then that just kind of goes right into the holster on the side there. No issues. Well, that's a little loose fitting. Compared to that like Mauser Luger pistol that we've gotten. We do get a grayish black and silver knife. I'm going to call that gray. Everything's gray. It drives me nuts. And that just goes right there into the giant knife sheath for the tiny knife. What are we doing here? We get this AR with the 203 on the bottom of it, and I see what they were going for, but I think it's gross. It's like a size or two too small, and this one's warped. The barrel like arches. Anyways, I don't really care much for these. I wish they were a little bit bigger, and then the magazine does drop out of that, goes back in, and then we got two portholes for blast effects. And then, of course, we got our 788 stamped black and red officer helmet with the red chevron. And that just goes on his head like so. And he's good to lead. So him and Rudat can be going back and forth over who's in charge here. So the black and red definitely looks great. It is a different red than we got on the Hiss Tactician. So maybe they weren't meant to be. I don't know. Because he's got more of like a flatter, brighter candy red as opposed to this darker, down to business red, which matches the actual tank itself. So that's your officer. We got our infantry, and we got our Cobra Trooper body, our Cobra Trooper head. He does have the darker skin complexion. We don't have any kind of special insignia on him that I'm seeing. And then we got the Alpha Commando Snake Eyes vest, which we haven't seen yet, which I think for a anti-armor Cobra Trooper is actually quite fitting. So where's Snake Eyes at? Instead of it being in a black, it's in a gray, because they love their grays for some reason. And it just doesn't have that little no paint app. They could have put the 788 on the grenade. That would have been pretty fun. Or they were to get, what, 0-0 onto that grenade there. So not a whole lot going on with this guy that we haven't seen yet. The black and red also looks awesome. He's got it in all his little extra padding areas. And with him we got our 788 Cobra Trooper helmet. No pistols, no knives, no weapons besides the Gustav inspired rocket launcher we've seen before. It's in gray. What a surprise. With like the red padding. And then of course the back piece was separate in the box, or in the little baggie. Oh, I didn't cover that. So all the gear, excuse me, Cobra Hiss infantry was in this giant Cobra Hiss Fire Team 788 weapons locker, 110. And then it was in 3 bags. It wasn't split up by each person. It was just all thrown into the different baggies. So very different. how there isn't one set standard for this stuff. This feels very thrown together and rushed, in my opinion. But going back to our Cobra Infantry, our anti-armor Cobra Trooper, it's gonna be shooting down some dragonflies here next summer. We got our same backpack we saw with Bazooka and the Snow Serpents, and then you got 4 of the RPG rockets. Just give us an RPG already, Hasbro. And then obviously you can peg them in however you want to peg them in. No special designs like we saw with Bazookas 2. Just regular, no 788s on these, no black and red, just flat, bland, boring gray. And then of course we get our 2 rocket effects that we saw with Scrap Iron. They don't work on the Hiss tank anywhere, which, yeah, so we still don't have any blast effects for the Hiss tank. Which is, this would have been the perfect opportunity to include some, but, you know. And then let's get into the Range Viper. So the Range Viper, of course, is a badass figure in general. We got our Walmart exclusive normal colors version, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the top of a lot of people's lists this year. So we got 788 on the shoulder. We got our Semper Fidelis Serpens again. And then we got our Cobra logo right there on the vest. The black and red is just menacing. It looks awesome. Some of the pictures I saw with these, so there's a couple different color reds here. There's like this like darker cranberry kind of red, and there's like this just dark red. And a couple of the pictures I saw kind of clashed a little bit, but it looks great in person. The gray Under Armour suit skin tone, whatever you want to call it, is a little different, but otherwise he looks great. So nothing we haven't seen before with the Range Viper. He's got all of his stuff. So we got his ammo belt that we've seen. Throw that over his head here. Actually, let me flip that. That way it's not interfering with the grenades. There we go. He's got his neckerchief. It's in that bright red, so kind of, it's interesting. Add some extra color there, some flair there. We get that pistol with the extended mag we've seen before. It's got the porthole for blast effects. We got his sai, because, you know, Range Vipers need their sais. We got our pickaxe. It's a little warped, but nothing anything can do. We got our LMG we got with the last one, and this one was wrapped in plastic, but it's still on the bent side. So I don't, like, GIJoe's the #1 military 1/12 scale line out there, and their weapons are hogwash, as the Cobra Commander would say. I know it's been addressed. I know they're fixing it, but this is, you know, this is to complement your crown jewel of the Hiss tank, and it's just not there right now. We got our grenade launcher. No extra colors. Got its porthole for blast effects. Then we got our Range Viper backpack with all the stuff sculpted into it. A little bit extra colors and stuff. And then obviously the grenade launcher pegs in. The pickaxe pegs in. And he's good to go. So the reason I think the Range Viper is a weird option in this set is because I feel like Range Vipers work on their own. Like, he'd be way out, super far in advance, clearing the path for the Hiss tank. You know, that advanced recon all the way out in the wilderness by himself. Doesn't care about the other guys. But, I mean, you can't say he doesn't look badass in the black and red. And then, of course, we get all of our blast effects that we've seen with all the other sets, except we get some blue ones now. So I guess they're going for that red laser, blue laser cartoon look, even though... does anybody use these? I know, like, the smoke is pretty nice, and this one's alright. And then I've used this one a couple times, but I don't care for a lot of them. They're just, they seem off. But let's line up the 788 team. So with this complementing the Hiss tank, I wonder if we're going to see a like a ground crew to complement the Dragon Dragonfly. Will we see the return of ketchup and mustard? I don't know. I'd be down for it. A little bit of like a refuel team, resupply, rearm. But there you have it. There's your Fire Team 788 with the Hiss Officer, the Hiss Range Viper, and the Hiss Infantry. Did you guys pick it up? Did you guys skip out on it? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Bobby B from B's Battlegrounds. Load up, grab your kits, grab some anti-armor rounds. See you in the battlegrounds.